G'day, I'm Will Anderson. Welcome to Gruen. We'll get to the panel in a moment. But first, why are there so many bad mascots? Metamucil's mascot is literally crap.
Before meeting Metamucil, I couldn't seem to get out of this hole I was stuck in. From the moment we met, things started moving. Now I feel healthier, better than I have in years. It's all because of Metamucil.
Those two ended up together and now have a bunch of little shits. Traditionally, mascots are animals, but all the good animals have been taken, which is why Roof Seal has this.
Oh, and your roof is getting lost between the lichen and the moss.
A seal on the roof. That's not a mascot, it's your name. If you're going to have a singing seal on the roof, why not make it this one? Bank SA has an oddly specific mascot, a piping shrike.
So call Bank SA and sort out your finances. Eh? Yeah.
Usually I'm the one giving banks the bird. Nimble Loans has a not-to-scale bunny. I guess a loan shark was too obvious. And Compare the Market is stuck with a meerkat. For almost a decade, they've been pretending that market sounds like meerkat. It doesn't. Maybe they should compare the pronunciation. Doesn't sound the same. Some mascots make absolutely no sense. St. George brought back the dragon, even though St. George is the one who slayed all the dragons. Here's my financial advice. Don't trust your money to anyone who sniffs like this. And worst of all, Wallet Wizard has this guy.
Wallet Wizard! Fast and easy loans up to $5,000. Cash possible within an hour of approval. Repayments could be less than you think. walletwizard.com.au.
That's right. Their name is Wallet Wizard and their mascot is a superhero, not a wizard. Nice job, abracadabasses. Time to welcome our panel from PwC, Russell Howcroft, and from The Today Show, if the rumours I'm hearing and starting are true, Todd Sampson. Joining them from Leo Burnett, Karen Ferry, and from One Green Bean, Claire Salvetti. On Friday, one of the biggest pop stars in the world released a new album without doing a single interview to promote it. That album is on track to be the highest-selling release of the year. Yep, tonight, the product we're talking about is Taylor Swift. Here's an ad playing on Australian TV.
The old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? 'Cause she's dead.
Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you just made me do. In the middle of the night, my dreams. In the middle of the night, like I can't begin. Like I can't begin. Like I can't begin. Are you ready for it? You're so gorgeous. I can't say anything.
Sounds great. Can't wait to never listen to that. But I'm interested in this line from the album's first single.
I'm sorry, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? Oh, 'cause she's dead.
Spoilers? The old Taylor brand was massively successful. Karen, why would she want to kill it?
Oh, she's probably too vanilla to get shot up in a gang fight, so she had to kill it for street cred. Like, you look at things like Black Lives Matter in a climate of where we're talking about Me Too and Charlottesville and Trump. Having her sort of brand of 4th of July parties where she's pretty vanilla, like she's blue ribbon in the world of Cena, isn't cutting it anymore. People want to have a front-on conversation. So this is her way of being relevant in 2017. Like when she released her previous album, she took on feminism with her fun girl squad that all wore leather pants. This is her trying to be edgy. This is her white girl version of lemonading. or pumpkin spice latte.
It's her sort of reflecting her audience, isn't it? So as she gets older, so her core female audience, you know, the opportunity just to kill off and reinvent, I think is it's a very powerful message for the people that are hardwired to Taylor Swift. So she's just reflecting what her audience wants.
She's a master at personal branding. I've got 2 daughters, so she's like my 3rd daughter in my house. But she is the absolute master of personal branding. And we're all personal brands, whether we like it or not. You know, our body brands our DNA, our clothes, we brand ourselves every day. And it's not whether you're a personal brand, it's what you do with your personal brand. And the music business is now a personal brand business, namely because the power has shifted away from record labels onto the artists themselves in terms of communication, distribution. I mean, they can instantaneously around the world on these platforms distribute their music independently if they want. So personal branding in music has become even more important than it already was.
The album name comes straight from the PR playbook. It's called Reputation. Better than her first choice, brand repositioning. Before its release, Taylor deleted every old post from her social media, where she has over 300 million followers. Her only appearances this week were performances, but she's not doing any interviews. Claire, why isn't Taylor talking to us?
Well, Taylor knows that if she is doing media interviews, then it requires her to sell her soul and tell everyone some secrets in exchange for possibly getting a mention of her new album. And the reality is, Taylor knows that the power that she has lies in her social channels. She's got hundreds of millions of followers. So she knows that she can completely control the message on her social channels and she can make everyone look at it. So, for example, when she deletes all the content, it's essentially an online equivalent of a drum roll. It's saying, guys, something's coming, watch this space. And what she's doing is she's shedding the past. It's all about the future brand. And this is a business for her. So memories and sentimentality don't matter to her.
And being quiet, she's never been louder, right? Now everyone's talking on her behalf. And it's very clever for her to pull back the noise and focus just on the release of her album. I mean, she is talking to us just on different channels, her own channel. You know, with 300 million followers, she has more power than any of these media companies would have, any of these shows would be able to broadcast in terms of popularity. She has it in her fingertips, of which she can control, and she does.
It's interesting how good marketing is actually, it's really simple, and in many cases it's obvious. So to just call the album Reputation, it is just leading with a chin. And yet people just buy it as a result. You know, there's nothing particularly clever about it, but what is clever about it is just being brave and being simple and just making it easy for people to buy.
But I think the message that she's actually selling as and she's telling this narrative that when she deletes all the stuff from her Instagram channels and stuff like that, it's saying that she is pissed off. It's that classic high school move where you're just like, I don't want to talk to you, so I'm not going to actually say anything. I'm going to pretend that you don't exist. It makes people look at her and be like, why are you so angry? That ladders really well to be like, when she releases her first single, she's saying she isn't happy with how the media talk about her. She's really annoyed at the way that she's been treated by other people. It works well with the narrative, like a teaser of a campaign that you would launch for a movie or for a cult TV series.
Taylor has been talking to someone, her fans. Throughout the year, she's held secret sessions, listening parties for 500 fans at her houses. Yes, houses.
This is like the best day of my entire life. We flew from Ireland. None of our friends know we left the country in secret because of Taylor. Welcome to the Reputation. Everything about this album is a secret.
Oh my gosh, I just met Taylor. She did a meet and greet with all of us and she was so nice. I just can't. I just can't. It was unreal.
I mean, she just felt like my best friend. There's no way to describe it. Like, it was just everything I could have asked for and more.
Well, I'm convinced. If her hardcore fans like it that much, it must be good. Todd, what does this kind of stunt do for Taylor?
She knows that she makes money from popularity and therefore the public is her shareholder. and she takes care of her shareholders. There's two major things happening here. First, by getting these people together, she's influencing the influencers. So while they can't give away all the details of what they saw, she selects people that also have a big social media footprint, and they spread the message like ambassadors for. So that's clever. The other thing is it grounds her. I mean, it is crazy to think that she does this in one of her 7 mansions, homes, around the world, but you going to her home, because what she doesn't want to become is someone that people don't relate to. And so she makes a big effort to kind of ground herself and bringing people into her home, and she bakes them cookies herself, and she makes them tea, and she does all of that there. Makes her seem like she's everyone else.
Oh, yeah. And so
with $200 million.
Yeah. But it's so interesting, isn't it? Because she is normalising herself in a way. But here, what is she, 27? So a 27-year-old, she's worth $280 million. She's sold 40 million albums. She's written, if not written all of the songs, she sort of co-writes all of the stuff. She's incredibly attractive, articulate. It's no wonder they go nuts when they meet her, because it is like it's genuinely meeting someone who is an extraordinary individual in the world.
But you know what? I think actually there are brands that talk to youth audiences that can really learn a thing or two from Taylor Swift, because she seems to just have the right approach. Giving them bragging rights for them to talk to their mates is a really good thing. To create really personal experiences like, you know, branded M&Ms that she can give out will give them something to talk about. And first of all, and most importantly, she focuses on her fans first. So treat loyalists really, really specially, because they're going to be the ones that are following you throughout your career.
If you want to own the album, you have to get it on iTunes or buy a CD. For the time being, it's not on streaming services like Spotify. Taylor sells special editions of her CD at Target US. Target is also selling an exclusive magazine full of photos and artwork, which is great, because I'm not a big fan of her music, but I love her art.
These are the first proofs of the magazine that we've been working on. Oh my God, this is amazing.
No, it's not. Russell, why is Target her target audience?
Well, Target, of course, are a mass retailer in the US, 1,800 stores, 96% brand awareness. It skews female, 65% female, and in fact, younger female. And importantly as well, it's more than average income earners go and use Target as well. So it's just mass marketing. Again, it's just Taylor Swift as a mass brand. Why wouldn't you attach yourself to the masses, you know, to the most mass brand in Target?
She might be a better business person than she is musician, because this is another clever move, because she just wants to own distribution from beginning to end. And retailers have become the new media companies because of the data and the distribution that they have. So they've got more information than a network would have. They have on hand, and she knows that. She's done all 3 albums with Target. She's been with them a long time, and she needs a physical location for her brand, because part of Taylor's mission, and you can tell by how aggressive she is getting around all the intermediaries. And in many ways, that's her shot at Amazon and, you know, getting around all of that and using some traditional mixed with offline and online.
That's right, because one of the great difficulties in music, it's having enough money to do the marketing. Yeah, so if you're just going to do, you know, the Will Anderson album, you put all your money into...
The old Will can't come to the phone right now.
So if you're creating the Will Anderson album, you're going to put all the money you possibly can into the production of the album. It makes it very hard to leave any money for marketing. So if you can find a marketing partner to do it for you, then of course you're going to get more sales, you're going to have more margin and turn yourself into Taylor Swift.
But what I find is interesting as to why she picked Target over something like Walmart is because they're growing with her. So recently, in the past few years, Target's focused on setting up more shops in urban areas and targeting millennials. So they're setting up stores in college campuses. So they're really growing with her as she becomes more adult. So it was the store that you'd go to buy your first sanitary napkin, and now it's where you go to buy your condoms.
And the great thing...
I'm not selling my album at Target, by the way. I'm selling mine at Walmart. We're going to call it Wilmart. It'll be a whole cross-promotion thing. It'll be great.
What they do really well is that with every year, the evolution of her partnership with Target is that they create new collateral. So this magazine's great because obviously lots of people are going to go in store and buy her merchandise, but there's so much content within that magazine. There's these little poems she wrote, and she presses flowers and these really lovely things that her fans love. Even if you don't get in store, that's shareable online.
One of the weirder brand of marriages for Taylor's new album is with US postal carrier UPS. She's mailing out the severed head of her ex-boyfriend. And for the first time ever, the iconic American delivery trucks carried advertising.
I think this partnership with Taylor Swift will be a great thing. You know, everybody likes Taylor Swift, and with everybody likes UPS.
I'm really excited about the opportunities that UPS are giving Swifties.
It's a way to show people how cool UPS is. They support Taylor Swift, and she's like the hottest thing trending right now. That's awesome. I'm so excited.
Go Taylor and UPS!
I'm convinced. If Taylor's hardcore fans like UPS, it must be good. Karen, who gets more out of this, Taylor Swift or UPS?
I think it's a very mutually beneficial relationship. So Taylor's famous for issues with streaming services, where she believes that they're underpaying artists. So for Spotify, for example, they pay an artist 0.006 cents for every play of a song. So her main thing is to push CDs because she gets a bigger cost margin for every CD that she sells, which means more profits. And for UPS, it's like 1989, which is a previous album, sold 1.82 million copies in the first week in the US alone. So it's a commodity that people want, millennials included, will do anything to get it, which means including learning how to use the postal service.
But isn't it awesome that she's got her face and she's got her album on the side of trucks? Yeah, so this is outdoor advertising. Outdoor advertising is incredibly powerful, and if you can actually harness it en masse, they've got over 100,000 trucks and vans going around the country. So it's brilliant. As a bit of marketing, it is seriously brilliant to get themselves on the back of those trucks. It's like and you can imagine sitting around saying, oh yeah, let's do a poster on the side of the UPS truck, and everyone go, are you serious? Like that is like, it's a bit of a crazy idea, but actually getting the album on the street is an awesome idea.
Yeah, it's just part of her overall strategy of direct to fan. Direct to fan. As close as she can get to the fan, cut out the intermediaries, is better for her and the business. And there's definitely much more in it from a brand perspective for UPS. I mean, UPS is seen as a reliable grey cardigan. You know, so to have her on there is a big up for them.
But also, I'm sorry, Russell, I know you're very excited about this because it's a new media opportunity, but I look at that and I go, there's 100,000 really large versions of Taylor Swift going around America. That would really get in your face and annoy you, I think.
Absolutely not. Absolutely, that's the point. Point of advertising is to get in your face and annoy you.
No, it's not. Bad advertising does.
Ooh, haters gonna hate. That ad keeps Taylor's dignity intact, but last year she made a very different ad for Apple Music.
Man, I hate cardio. Activity playlist, running, #gym flow, Drake and Future. All right.
If your metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah. Yeah. Halloween.
I'm gonna shoot you.
Yeah. Jumpin', them boys up to something. They just spent like 2 or 3 weeks out the country. Them boys up to something, they just not just bluffing. You don't have to call, I hit my dance like Usher, woo. I just found my tempo like I'm DJ Mustard, woo. I hit that Ginobili with my left hand, I was like, woo. I'm saying something for all my babies that I miss. Chicken finger, french fry for them that wanna diss. Jumpin', them boys up to something.
Well, at least now we know how the old Taylor died. Claire, why does Taylor want us to see her fall?
Well, I think the context of when that ad came out is important. So it was the end of last year. She hadn't released an album last year. A lot of the focus for her was on her personal story, her woes, really, because she'd had a couple of really public relationship breakups. And so we'd seen a lot of sad-faced Taylor. So what this was about was reminding people that actually Taylor can be a bit goofy, she can have fun, she can laugh at herself. And I think it did it really well. And the act of falling off the treadmill is a classic comedy act that you see in very shareable videos. This is about her really showing that she wants to have fun.
This is as much a makeup ad with Apple as well. The context was the Dear Apple Love Taylor situation where Apple wasn't paying the artists for the 3-month trial period. And Taylor went public and said, we don't ask you for free iPhones, don't ask us for free music. And Apple changed the rule within 24 hours of her complaining. That's how powerful she is. So this is as much about Apple just showing the world that Taylor and Apple are cool together.
Yeah.
Taylor works hard at being relatable. She has paid off her fans' student loans, she's hand-delivered Christmas presents and rocked up uninvited to weddings. Russell, if she wants to shed her old reputation, shouldn't she do something edgy, like, you know, punch a photographer or get arrested on a plane to Wagga?
Well, the thing... So the impression that we get, of course, is that Taylor Swift is very highly managed. So if she punched someone, that would be because the next album was going to be called Punch Drunk or something like that. It's because nothing seems to happen by chance or by mistake.
But you know the thing, she has a manager, but most of it she manages herself. I mean, she is that... I mean, talk about shrewd and astute. If you look at that, the loan that she paid off was for $1,989. Talk about extreme branding. So that's the year of her album, when she was born. That was what her album was called. I mean, that was the loan she paid off. So everything she does is super calculated and works towards building her brand and making her more money.
Taylor is not without her critics. For years, haters used the snake emoji and the hashtag Taylor Swift is a snake. Now she's biting back. The snake is all through her video clip and her microphone is a snake. She even sells her own snake rings. I love mine. Claire, was reclaiming the snake a good move?
Well, firstly, I think that Taylor is very lucky that all of her haters chose a really cool animal to insult her with. If they'd called her a mole, for example, that wouldn't have looked quite as good in her merchandise as the snake did. But I do think it's a really, really smart move because the snake is a really mythical creature and people understand it to be a symbol of transformation and rebirth, which is exactly what this album is. But perhaps more smartly, if that's a word, what she's doing is she's taking the one thing that people are using to insult her and she's wearing it as a badge of honour. It's a bit of a middle finger up to the people that have not supported her. And it's really hard to insult someone once they've taken it on and are actually using it to make a load of money.
But what I think is really interesting is you sit down and interrogate the clip, which is how she makes her clips, is designed for fans to pull them apart and decode them, is that she's not saying she's a snake, she's saying she's in a world of snakes and she actually uses them she trains them to do things. She's a snake charmer. So even there's like a scene of one of the snakes pouring her some tea. Tea is a drag term for gossip. So she could be inflecting the media. The scene where she's dressed up like Katy Perry, that Katy Perry character is wearing snake skin. So even though it was thrown at her, like the idea of wearing a snake ring is a snake twisted around her finger. She's the one that's in control.
The last Taylor Swift tour grossed $170 million. But like many big artists, Taylor has a ticket scalper problem. Here's how she's trying to solve it.
Visit TaylorSwift.com, register, and unlock access to the Taylor Swift Tix portal. Once at the portal, you can choose your preferred city to see the show, Then you'll have the opportunity to participate in unique activities that advance your spot in line. Based on the activities you participate in, your place in line will move up and down. The better your spot in line, the better the opportunity to access tickets.
Oh, a unicorn cat makes being extorted so much cuter. Bruce Springsteen used the same technology, but this takes it a step further. People willing to buy the most merch at her online stores have the best chance of getting tickets. Karen, can you take these things too far?
Oh, look, she's purposely taking it really far. I mean, this is more than a pyramid scheme and crack. This is like the Church of Swiftology. Like, instead of putting in money to find out about the secret spaceship, the more you pay, the closer you get to Taylor. And while some people might balk at the idea of extorting 16-year-olds for money, she's really gambling on the loyalty of her fans coming to pay for the tickets. And what's really interesting is in the past year or so, she's trademarked the term Swifties, which is the name for her fan base. But she hasn't just trademarked it in terms of music. She's also trademarked it in terms of educational information. So summits, retreats, seminars. She's looking at blowing this up to be much bigger in the same way that you would with a kind of institution that has devout followers. She's looking to go Oprah level.
Yeah. This is a super clever piece of technology that's not related specifically to Taylor because it's the ticket companies that are using it. And it's like fear of missing out on steroids. It's a money machine because they know that the second market for tickets is about $8 billion. And they also know that when it comes to the sale of concerts, 90% of the tickets are already allocated or sold or resold within the first 24 hours. So they're using this as a way of playing on people's hope that they may get a ticket. But you could spend $1 million on merch and all you're guaranteed, which is so clever, all you're guaranteed is a spot in the queue.
The other awesome thing is, of course, that you're using Daddy's money.
That's not awesome.
I can't imagine my dad would be cool with that. Hey, Dad, I know you got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to milk cows, but Will wants Tay-Tay tics. Well, the one constant of Brand Taylor is her rich history of flogging shit. She's done ads for Diet Coke, CoverGirl, Ked's Shoes, Sony, video game Band Hero, Telco AT&T, Taylor Swift Fragrance Incredible Things, Taylor Swift Fragrance Wonderstruck, Taylor Swift Fragrance Taylor by Taylor Swift, Sound Matters, a PSA for turning down your headphones, a Chinese Toyota ad, and NASCAR Auto Care. The old Taylor might be dead, but her love of advertising is eternal. Flogger's gonna flog. And now, the pitch. Our dogged pursuit of the impossible. The world is a chaotic place. Everyone exists in an echo chamber divided by politics, race, religion, and their beliefs about whether pineapple belongs on pizza. So this week we've asked our agencies to channel their inner Taylor Swift and come up with a song to remind us of all the things that unite us. Can they do it? Please welcome from Brother & Co, Kurt Vertel, and from Meerkat, Ricky Burns. Welcome. All right. Kurt, how did you get people to change their tune?
We did it with a song that celebrates a simple Australian truth.
Let's have a look.
Australia, we hit the diversity jackpot.
When you think of all we've got, we got Palmies, we got Kazis, we got Muslims and Chinese, we got lefties, we got gingers, we got righties, we got whingers, we got bikies, we got bogans, we got schoolies, we got coolies, we got hipsters, we got hippies, we got sisters and chippies. We got blokes, bludgers, bunny huggers, hosties, truckies, budgie smugglers, foodies, miners, mobs and yobs, baby boomers, awesome critters. Somehow this diversity is what makes us all Aussie. There's no debate, it's our differences that make us great, mate!
Nice. Nice. Ricky, what song sheet did you sing from?
Look, it was tough, but I think we found something that everyone can get behind.
Oh, let's have a look.
roses, no comments, no ribbons, no pins. If we all stand for nothing, everyone wins. It's our day for nothing, a day to stand tall, stand shoulder to shoulder, stand up for fuck all. On our day for nothing, our problems can wait. It's a day off from work and a day off from hate. Everybody! It's our day for nothing, a day to stand tall, stand shoulder to shoulder, stand up for fuck all. Stand for nothing, stand up for us all.
Russell, I know you like a jingle. Which did you prefer?
I love both of those. I loved both of those. The second one, the end line, whether you can't argue with that, the notion of nothing. I think that's really clever writing, but I'm going to go for number one.
Karen?
I actually really like the idea of removing all the differences that divide us, so I'm going to go with number 2.
What about you, Claire?
I'm going with number 2 too, Will.
Last but not least, Todd?
Oh, I wish I could get the first one out of my head, but I can't, so I'm going with 1.
Oh, that means, well, in the spirit of unity, look at that. That's how we compromise. That's what I like. Congratulations. That feels appropriate, I think. These days, everyone is spending too much time on their phones, at least according to all these articles I read on my phone. Luckily, one brand has found a solution.
For 3/4 of the day that you are awake, there are devices involved in the Fitzgerald house. I think everyone kids themselves how much they're on social media. I feel like I'm addicted to it now. We didn't get bored at all.
No.
Dinner last night was probably the most fun we've had for a very long time. It is a detox, just to reset your life.
And it's nice to, you know, just pause it for a moment.
I wish nothing more in the world for both of them to have the lives that we had as kids. It was the best life ever.
Ah, nothing more relaxing than getting away from technology with an entire camera crew following your every move. That spot says headaches have changed. They've even invented a new term for it, life headache. Karen, what's the value in inventing a term?
Oh, look, you make a term because it gives us something else to blame for our shitty lives. Like, you know, you look at 7 signs of aging, 330 engagement rings, they've been created by brands for problems that don't exist. So for Panadol, they can't change their product, but what they can do is actually change the lifestyle needs that their product comes in. And they pick something like life headache because it sounds really wholesome and good and safe, because Australians are becoming more health conscious. Like 6 out of 10 of us care about the long-term effects of what we put in our body. So when they've got their, you know, cross-stitch typography and they're like chalkboards and marshmallows in the fire, they're saying that they're really wholesome. This isn't the Panadol from the 80s, this is the one that your grandma would make at home in a bathtub.
I'm not sure that was Panadol, your grandma was...
But, so this ad, I'm looking at this ad and it tells me that headaches have changed, which immediately have they? It needs...
That's so funny because I went, bullshit.
Yeah, it's like, no, OK, so tell me, how have they changed? So what's the support to the idea? So the advertising idea is headaches have changed. No, there's nothing about that in the ad. I want to know how they've changed and, as a result, what I should do. Like, there's nothing explained here.
Should have started with a phone call. The old headache can't come to the phone right now.
Yes. OK, but if we go right to advertising basics.
Let's go to it.
Advertising basics. If you put a proposition out there, headaches have changed, advertising must support the proposition.
Russell, headaches haven't changed. The marketing has.
But even if it's just marketing, you then have to say how, why, it's got to be believable. Headaches have changed. The modern world's... So is the bit that they're not telling us that the mobile phone is creating something different in our brains and that's giving us a different headache, right?
I've got a marketing headache. That's what I've got.
You take this.
The home of reconnection has no technology, a bit like a house with the NBN. To attend, you have to enter a competition online. The website also asks you to share the competition on Twitter and Facebook. Claire, how do we do that while turning off our devices?
Yeah, it feels a little bit like the glitch in the idea that perhaps no one had really thought about the mechanic before this idea came to life. It's essentially saying you just need to give yourself a bit more of a life headache before you're in with a chance to remove your life headache. And I suppose if they're being true to their purpose, they would have asked that the competition entries were sent in by traditional snail mail or maybe a smoke signal or something. But if that becomes a reality, then the reach suddenly goes from potentially quite large to about 4 people. And when it comes to marketing, it's all about reach and creating resonance. So that simply wouldn't have worked. So it feels a little bit like perhaps the idea wasn't as well thought through at the beginning.
Yeah. The home of reconnection is a single house on the New South Wales south coast. Of the millions of families in Australia, only 8 will score a weekend there. Todd, does Panadol actually want us to change our life, or do they just want us to pop a pill?
Well, if there were no headaches, there'd be no pills, there'd be no profit, there'd be no company. So just using base logic, they don't want to cure the actual problem. They make money from curing the symptoms. I think what Panadol's banking on is apathy. That people spend a hell of a lot of time treating symptoms and very little time actually preventing it or solving the problem. And I think what they're hoping happens is that you watch this, you identify with their brand purpose, which is a higher order thing about helping you live a better life, and then you park that. When you get a headache, you buy our product.
But it's also that thing of they're inserting themselves into a problem. So you know that life's headaches are caused by the blue screen. So the next time that you have a blue screen headache, instead of turning it off, you'd be like, you'd be like, oh my God, Panadol. You go take a box and then you continue watching the full season of Twin Peaks.
So why wouldn't you have a pack of Panadol called Blue Screen Headache?
You can.
Yeah.
You can.
You can.
Yes.
That's right.
But
So
it's
why
a
wouldn't
made-up. It's a made-up thing.
Yeah, of course. Of course, but then at least I know what I'm buying. I know that I'm buying it.
I mean, technically what Todd is saying is you can write that on yourself.
I mean, it is what marketing. It is. I mean, at the end of the day, that is the fundamental premise of marketing. It's similar with smell. You know, that if we tell you long enough that you smell and it's bad, then we create a deodorant. If we tell you long enough that you need a smell to make you more attractive, then we've created perfume. So I guess in a way, we could create headaches that are not real and sell them products for.
Hard to do that, right? It's hard. It's hard to.
Go on, please. It's the final episode. We can have a really long XL version this week.
Marketing can't invent the headache, Todd. Yeah, it can segment. It can segment where the pain is coming from.
Which is a lie.
Yeah. No, it's not a lie. The segmentation isn't a lie. That's okay, yeah? It could actually advertise the cause of a headache, but it can't invent the notion that you, like, oh, I've got a pain. No, you've either got one or you don't. So...
I've got a little one in my left-hand side.
Oh, dear.
Panadol ads have always shown unhappy people in physical pain. Now, a painkiller wants to own happiness too. Russell. What's a lifestyle headache?
Yeah, well...
Russell, is this marketing genius or bullshit?
Well, one of my very first bosses said, you know, the great thing about advertising, Russ, it all works, it's just a matter of how much. So when you look at this, I wonder just how much this one will work, because I don't know what I'm actually buying, right? Because in the end, ads have got to tell me what they want me to do. And what do they want me to do here? Go on a camp or something? It's not... It's not, and this notion of this invention of a life headache. Gee, they're asking a lot. I suppose what they want is they want us to wake up every morning and have a Panadol because just life is just a headache.
That's terrible. Don't wake up every morning and have a Panadol.
Well, that's
replacing the behaviour that you would have seen in the 90s, where people did take Panadol every day, every second day, because something hurt. I bumped my toe, or my intestines hurt. They just like took a Panadol as like a sort of covering agent. So what they're actually doing is now they're trying to target a sort of more younger demographic, Gen X, millennials, who are moving to things like Nurofen or actually just moving to better healthcare in general. And so they're trying to show how they're relevant in their lives, which is life headaches. And what's quite interesting is it's one of the first times that Panadol have done an ad that's targeted at families, not targeted an individual. So when you think about families that are having young kids, Panadol for kids can be taken at 1 month as opposed to Nurofen, which is 3 months, so they're getting in early. So it's like Dolomites for drugs.
Here's the thing about Panadol's home of reconnection. I'm not sure the guests did get over their technology addiction. They were only there for 1 weekend, and in that time, they built their own Instagram, their own Spotify, put something online, listened to tweets. Oh, strap yourself in, there's heaps more. Built a firewall. Kept up with their social bubble. And they even use this. That's an old school way of Facebook stalking people. Or how we used to find porn. That's just about all for tonight and this season of Gruen. Please thank our panel, Russell, Karen, Claire and Todd. We'll leave you with the last stop in our journey through the ghosts of advertising past. Nothing has haunted this season more than the spectre of Amazon arriving on our shores, which is why it seems fitting to end with this 1986 ad reminding us to buy local. Why would that be something you couldn't make today? Well, you could, but you might want to remove some of the brands, like Meadow Lee, which now has foreign owners, or Ford Falcon, which is manufactured offshore, or FAI Insurance, The Bulletin, and Ansett, which don't exist anymore. We'll see you next year, probably streaming on Amazon. Good night.
Hey, true blue, don't say you've gone. Say you've knocked off for a smoker, and you'll be back later on. Hey, true blue.
I'd like to talk with you about something that has a lot to do with the future of Australia. Now is the time for us to dig in and help each other as never before. Let me give you an important, practical and simple example. Next time you're shopping, I ask you at least stop and compare the Australian-made article with its overseas competition. When you choose a true blue Aussie-made product, you are helping a mate, and you are helping Australia. True blue. Won't that be fantastic?